Good morning children. I hope you have seen the previous video of the later Vedic age where I've discussed about lot many things, right? Like later Vedic economy. Clear everyone. Later Vedic age settlement. New regions they have selected, right? And in fact they have moved further towards southern part of India, and we have got the proof, evidence also. They have moved further where in southern part of India, and we found the stones, the huge stones which laid upright ones, right? And these huge stones were known as Mogolithics or cromlechs or domlans. Clear everyone? So all these rocks we come to know, and these were clearly shows us, right, ki later Vedic age has been spreaded over the southern part of India. Clear? So in this video I simply make you aware more things, simply let you know about more things related to later Vedic age. So let's start now. Now, the later Vedic economic life. If you see the economic life of early Vedic Aryans class, so in early Vedic Aryans, what they were dependent on the agriculture. They have only cultivated one crop, that was Yava. Clear? And they were domesticating the animals. That's it. The economy was totally confined to the villages. But here, their economy also have undergone tremendous changes, right? And what changes they have undergone? The list is here. See, now under agriculture, Yava or barley was cultivated, Rihi or rice, another crop, including wheat, millet and sugarcane. And if you see, they have they simply know the use of iron, and iron, obviously they started cultivating the lands with the iron axes. Clear? Iron plowshares. They started cultivating different varieties of crops. This way various developments started emerging up in the agriculture. Clear? Next they started inventing themselves in crafts and other occupations, right? Just because of the use of iron, right? Carpentry, jewelry, manufacture of glass, craft specialization, and the chariot making. And they were started different crafts. They started specializing themselves in different art and crafts. Clear? Then they have trade and industry. Now what form of trade? Like earlier they used to in early Vedic age they used to trade in barter system. That means barter system, they used to exchange in goods, and cow was a standard unit of value. But here what happened? In trade and industry, unit of value was changed from cow to Nishka and Satmana. They were known as unit of value, right? Flourishing inland maritime trade. They had a flourishing inland maritime trade. Then guilds control prices and quality, and basically they have guild system who control and manages the prices. Clear? So I hope so you people have understood by now that later Vedic age has gone tremendously. They have simply changed themselves. Earlier they were only confined to the villages. Now here they started specializing themselves in different skills, in different arts, and in fact also they've developed themselves in trade as well. Clear? Earlier they just have transporting of goods from one place to another, and they use horse, ox, bullocks, right? And here what they were using, they started their unit of value has been replaced from cow to Nishka and Satmana, if you see here, right? Let's move on to the next slide. Now the religious life of later Vedic Aryan. So if you see in the early Vedic Aryan, they were the simple nature worship lover, right? They worshipped god Varuna, they worshipped goddess Agni, right? Goddess Prithvi. Clear? So here many god and goddesses also have undergone changes. Now new gods started emerging up. So if you see Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they started worshipping more new gods and goddesses. Prajapati or Brahma was a creator. Clear? Then Vishnu the preserver, was Shiva Mahadeva. Then the great god Rama and Krishna were the incarnations of Lord Vishnu. And obviously they worship, everyone knows Lord Rama and Lord Krishna were the incarnations of Lord Vishnu. And then other goddesses also they started worshipping, like Durga, Kali, Lakshmi, goddess Parvati, right? They were the important female deities or statues. Clear? So they used to worship lot many gods and goddesses. And in early Vedic age, if you see, so they were only worshipping the nature. Clear? They were only confined themselves. They chant hymns in the open, right? But here they started worshipping many gods and goddesses. Now ritual and sacrifices. So they started going for sacrifices. Though early Vedic Aryan too performed sacrifices, but sacrifices they were simple. They were performing simple sacrifice. Like they in Agni they simply offered ghee, soma juice, flesh, right? All these things they were offering, right? And from men to God, it was just as a form of charity. Clear? Now but here ritual and sacrifices have undergone obviously the changes they have undergone here also. So what happened? Just see. Now simple religious practices become complicated in later Vedic age. Now sacrifice become the important part of the religion. They have to do the sacrifice at any cost. Clear? And if you see, like they started performing many different sacrifices. Clear? Now the ceremonies could only performed by Brahmins. Now Brahmins obviously here attained the highest degree, attained the highest acclamation, right? Means highest degree and reputation. Clear? Then many superstitious beliefs in spirits, spells, and charms. They start believing into superstitious beliefs, right? They started practicing spell, charms, right? Then practice of tapasya or penance. They started doing tapasya to please gods and goddesses. Clear? Then they believe in karma and moksha. They believe in action and then later on salvation. Clear? All these words started emerging up in later Vedic age, right? Then Upanishads, everyone knows it was the discourses of sages, sayings of sages and rishis. Clear? Deal with the higher knowledge, explain the relationship between jiva and soul. Jeev means individual, soul atma, right? There's a connection between it. Clear? So all these things are being mentioned in Upanishads, and later Vedic age explained a lot things about Upanishads in depth, about practice of tapasya, about superstitious beliefs, right? So all these things have undergone changes, and all these things came into practice by the later Vedic Aryans. Clear? Now if you see the epics, now if you remember, I told you in the literary sources of a later Vedic age, like they have epics, right? They simply they have written many powerful epics, like in the form of the Ramayana is believed to be the work of sage Valmiki, and the Mahabharata is believed to be the work of Ved Vyasa, right? Then the message of Bhagavad Gita, if you see Bhagavad Gita, right, the holy book, right, and your concern says the Gita, what is written in Gita is solely with action, not its fruit. Action is its own reward. So here the Gita mentioned lot much about the action. You just have to practice, just have to do the hard work. You're not concerned about the reward or the results, right? If you practice, if you do the hard work honestly, the results will be accordingly. Really, you're not going to be concerned about the results at all. You just have to be focused on your actions. Actions speaks louder than words. Clear? Now Ramayana, then again, everyone knows, epics expose many information. In fact, epics tells us and narrates us about different kings and queens, right? As of now, you people have understood what is there in Ramayana, what is there in Mahabharata, right? Let's move on to another slide. Now what are the importance of the epics? Now epics, what gives us what sort of information? So here they gives us the main source of information about the political, social, cultural organization of the epic age. In epic they used to give us about the politically, how come the kings were managing politically their administrative work, then socially, right, what was society, what sort of society was there, their culture, all these things. We have simply seen the glimpses of all these things. In fact, we have seen in depth of all these phases in epics. Clear? Then about various Aryan, we come to know about various Aryan kingdoms, which kingdoms they conquered, right? Which kings rose to power. Clear? The armies and the weapons, all these informations are being given by the epics. Then these epics they are acclaimed, they are being repeated, they are being known for their literary and philosophical value. Philosophical, the meaning of life, right? They simply they give the inner meaning of life. What is conscience, right? What is soul? All these meaning you will get from all these epics. Clear? The high ideals of family life. And if you see, you simply from the epics, if you see that they narrate us about the family life, right? How come sacrifices in the families, the inspiration from the elders, all these things you will get from the epics. Clear? And then the moral principles, like discipline, your manner of conduct really determines your personality and the characteristics, right, and the features. All these things you will be getting from the epics. Clear? And the great heroes, and obviously everyone knows Lord Rama, the great hero, right? And what conduct, what sort of personality he has, and what inspiration, influence he has on other human beings, right? We learn many things from them, from Lord Rama, from Lord Krishna, from Ramayana, from these epics, right? So we got to know the information about them. We got inspiration, right? We were influenced from all these heroes. Clear? And we had a huge respect. Clear? So all these epics gives us an insight view of these great heroes. Clear? Next we have the religious text, teaches us that the soul is immortal. And the religious text, obviously, what teaches us that soul is immortal, right? You need to be prepared, your soul, you need to make your soul pure, right? You know, don't need to have to show your corruption, right? You have to, you know, live a simple life with high ideals, high moral principles, right? And you just have to perform your actions. You're not going to concern about the results. Your actions, you do the hard work, and the results will depend on your hard work. Clear? So all these things, you know, are being taught in the epics. So I hope so till now you people have understood what epics has teaches us, right? What information has given to us by the epics. Clear? So this way we have come to the last part of this chapter, that means later Vedic age. Clear? And from later Vedic age, and if you move on to early Vedic age, so we have simply, you know, we got to know the variety of information, right? Like in early Vedic age, we come to know about the Rig Veda. That was the main source, right? And that Rig Veda, you know, tells us about the hymns and praise of gods and goddesses. It tells us about the nature, about the, you know, worship of different gods and goddesses, and they just simply performed simple sacrifices. They were dependent on simple, you know, living, and they had a joint family system. All these things we have seen in early Vedic age. After that, we have moved on to later Vedic age. In later Vedic age, what we have seen in later Vedic age was, obviously, it was an all-round developed age. They know the use of iron. They started developing themselves in every field. In the field of craft, in the field of agriculture, in the field of occupation, right? Various different occupations started emerging up. Clear? So this way we come to know many things, right? And again, if you want, again I revise this what I have taught in this video, right? So again I'll go to the first slide now. Now see, now we have the later Vedic economic life. As I told you, economy, they were dependent on agriculture, yava or barley, rihi or rice, wheat, millet and sugarcane, right? All these agriculture, all these crops are being, you know, cultivated. They have cultivated these crops with the help of the plowshares, right? With the help of the axes, with the help of the different weapons which they have made out of axes, which they have made out of iron, right? Next we have the crafts and occupation. Here they know the use of iron. So what they you know, different occupations started emerging, like in the form of carpentry, jewelry, manufacture of glass, craft. They started specialization themselves. They simply specialized themselves in the chariot making of rath. Chariot means rath, right? They started, you know, making chariots. Then next we have trade and industry. Trade industry has also undergone the tremendous change now. Like now they started, you know, replacing cow as a standard unit of value. In place of cow, they used as nishka and satmana, right, as a unit of value. They started exchanging in these units, right? And then flourishing inland maritime trade. They had a proper flourishing inland maritime trade, and they had guilds who controlled prices and quality. So you can see very well how changes have been, you know, simply implemented in all these society. Now next, religious life of the later Vedic Iron. So age, if you see, the new gods started emerging, like God Brahma, God Vishnu, God Shiva. Then Prajapati, they started worshipping Prajapati. The Brahma, you know, he was a creator. Vishnu, he preserved, right? With Shiva Mahadev. Clear? The great god Rama and Krishna were the incarnations of Lord Vishnu. Then you see different gods and goddesses, like goddess Durga, goddess Kali, goddess Lakshmi, goddess Parvati, right? They were important female deities. Clear? Okay, now we have ritual and sacrifices. They start performing different rituals and sacrifices. Now simple religious practices, like it was done by early Vedic Iron, now started, you know, getting complicated now, right? The sacrifices become the essential part. Now they have performed 3 types of sacrifices. I already explained you in the previous video. 3 types: Rajasuya, Vajpaya and Ashwamedha sacrifice. All these 3 types of sacrifices have to be performed by the kings on different occasions. Clear? Then they have ceremonies could only perform by now. The, you know, religious ceremony could only perform by the Brahmins. Brahmins rose to prominence, you know, rose to the highest degree. Clear? Then so they start believing into superstitious beliefs, right? Then they started, you know, practicing spirits, right? Spells and charms. Then practice of tapasya or penance played a very important role. They have to practice tapasya, as everyone knows. They believed in the karma and moksha, right? And then action and salvation. Moksha means salvation. Then Upanishads also, you know, it was discourses of sages and saints, right? And here they were, you know, imparting the highest knowledge to the pupil, explaining the relationship between a jeev and soul. Jeev means individual, connecting individual with his soul, right? Come on to next slide now. The epics, we come to know about different epics now. It was also the source of information, right? The Ramayana and the Mahabharata. It was written by sage Valmiki. The Mahabharata is believed to be the work of Ved Vyas. right? And if you see the message of Bhagavad Gita, so always remember, it's solely with action or its fruits, and action is its own reward. You need to only focus on your action, the hard work, right? And reward was the more hard work you pay, right? You commit yourself to the hard work, the better the result you will get, right everyone? Now, importance of the epics. Now, here are the importance of the epics. The main source of information about the political, social, cultural organization of the epic age, about various iron kingdoms, the armies and the weapons. Clear, we come to know from the epics. They were known for the literary and philosophical value, literature, philosophical, that means meaning of life. Then high ideals of family life, like moral principles and the great heroes, we come to know from the epics, as I already mentioned you. Clear. Then the religious text teaches us that soul is immortal. Soul is immortal. So all these things have given us the information, yes, such and such thing has been existed, right? We have got the proof. Clear, right? In early Vedic age in the form of Rig Veda, in later Vedic age in the form of different literary sources, in the form of Smriti, in the form of epics. Clear everyone? And then we got to know from different sources. If you see Samhita and Brahmana, Veda was divided into Samhita and Brahmana. Then we have, we come to know about the other three different Vedas which has been originated, right? The Samaved, the Atharva Ved and Yajurved. So all these things, this simply act as a source of information, and we come to know about different things. Clear? So do listen to the videos, the previous videos, and this video carefully, and this way you get to know about everything about later Vedic age as well as about the early Vedic age. Clear? Okay, thank you.